back, 1K Convos. Our special guest here, Kailee Marie.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too shabby, you know. It's been a very, very interesting summer so far. How's quarantine been treating you? Let's get to the nitty gritty.
It's been fine. For me, I've enjoyed it, honestly. That's about it. I've been learning lots of things, doing art. And that's pretty much it.
Did you pick up any new skills?
Tattoos.
Artsy.
Yeah.
It's a good way. Why not? It's
Exactly.
a good way to go.
I'm like, it's the time.
If it was any time, it'd be now. You know, a lot of
It's
people. It's very polar. You know, some people are stressing about it. Some people were, you know.
I know.
But if you can get something out of it, whether it's, you know, a new skill, some clarity, just getting back on track, then I think you've made the best of it. So good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. Was it uncomfortable at first? All that free time?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'd say uncomfortable. It was very reflective. Like, that's what I was doing. A lot of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of thinking. A lot of, like, reminiscing mostly.
Writing?
No, just regretting my life.
Yeah.
Only some parts of it.
Some parts? I think... Oh, go ahead.
It's necessary.
The reflection part?
Yeah.
Isolation.
Yeah.
Same thing as prison.
Well, don't say that.
If you think about it, I mean...
Yeah.
Being alone with your thoughts,
True.
right? I mean, how much movies and stuff, how much can you really do to distract your brain?
Yeah, you can only consume so much.
And then eventually you have to, you know, face, you gotta ask yourself some questions.
It's true.
Why writing?
Why did I start?
Yeah, why did you get into writing?
So when I was younger, it was a way to kind of express the pain that I was in, because a lot of it was not physical. And I always wanted to write a book, like, about my life. And because I always thought that the things...
You gotta talk into the mic.
Oh my gosh. Is that better?
Yeah.
Like, all the pain that I endured it would only be beneficial, or, like, I only had a reason if I shared it and tried to, like, help people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was the only thing that was good about, like, what I had gone through. So I decided to write.
Mm-hmm. And how has it positively shaped your life?
Writing?
Yeah. No, mental health.
Well, pending. That is pending.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess going through it all, I learned to not define myself by the pain that I endured. But as for positives, like, from my mental illnesses, yeah, I'm not sure what to tell you. I've been able to help people. That's the thing. Definitely had that. Like, when I've written even my blog post kind of about, like, my past, what I've been through, some people hit me up and they were, like, very grateful. And I've always said, like, if I could just help one person, then that's literally all I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been positive for me.
This might be a personal question. What type of mental illness were you dealing with? Is that personal? Is that too much?
It's okay. Well, like, when I was younger, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety and PTSD. In December, I realized I got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So that's new. Yeah, that one's new. But it makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like all encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of sense.
Does one, in a sense, lead to the other? Are they all interconnected in a way?
They're kind of all interconnected. I feel like if you're diagnosed with PTSD, it's gonna come with depression or anxiety, kind of, because I feel like that's just pretty normal. But the borderline comes from, I don't think people are born with it, but I think it happens. It's just like what you go through as a child, pretty much, how you develop.
Do the people around you, are they considerate of it? Like, how are conversations about mental health around the people around you?
I don't have them often. It's kind of like a taboo subject still for some reason. A lot of people don't really ask about it at all or try to understand it even. But I feel like I'm just more comfortable with expressing myself. I'm more comfortable with being like, hey, this is, like, I'm sorry if this is how I'm coming across, but, like, it's not personal. This is what it is, and I'll just explain that. And they accept it. But, like, I feel like people don't ever try to, like, actually understand. Yeah.
Because it can be difficult to conceptualize for someone that's never dealt with it.
That's true.
It might be a foreign concept to some people, but the conversation is happening.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a good thing. Tell me about the culture surrounding it.
What do you mean?
In the sense of, with immigrants, it's like you were saying, not a taboo, but more unacknowledged.
Oh yeah.
What about, like, your family? Is that you were saying it's taboo, but is the conversation progressive?
Yeah. I don't really have that problem other than, like, my grandparents. My grandma says, you guys are only depressed because you have the time to be. I said, okay, well, you're kind of right, but
I mean,
yeah.
Time or technology?
Time. She says time. She says when she was younger, like, she was always having to cook and clean and take care of everything and have to worry about this and that. Like you said, the hierarchy of needs. So she was worried about those. And she's like, the only reason you guys have any mental illnesses is because you don't have to worry about the first one. That's kind of what she's saying.
Well,
so I have dealt with that, but...
Damn, Grandma.
She kind of has a point, but...
I mean...
she's not right, but, like, points were made.
That's the points were made, and it's like, when those points are made, does that take away from the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm stuck. I'm never stuck with words. Does that take away from the sense of urgency of mental illness?
I would say so. Yeah, especially with mine, with borderline. But yeah.
And then, is it every day? Is it some days you have good days, some days are bad? Is it, once in a while? Like, how often?
It's fun. So basically there's borderline personality and then there's, like, bipolar. And bipolar, it is usually weeks that you're super down and super up. With borderline, it's like in a day, I will probably go through waves that are, like, very extreme multiple times. So it's kind of a daily thing. Obviously sometimes they're worse than others. Like, it depends what I'm going through, but if I'm going through other things, then I'll probably be going through it, like, different. Yeah, my brain is just very fast. That's how it works. I feel like for me, I'm always, like, 3 steps ahead or, like, still thinking 3 steps back.
So would you say it's more about, this may come off ignorant.
It's okay.
Would you say it's about not being in the moment, in a sense?
Yeah. Kind of, like, but then sometimes being in the moment is just as bad. If that makes any sense.
You're gonna have to elaborate.
I don't know. Like, for me, I've been definitely working on being present more. But sometimes I feel like it overwhelms me. And I can never shut my brain off. Does that count as not being present if I'm always thinking?
I don't know, because my father has told me the same thing about, he says that about me, is like, you don't turn your brain off. That can be a good and bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So I don't know, I guess it depends on either how you look at it or what you get out of it. To each their own.
True.
Right? But, you know, the fact that you're having the conversation, it's the same thing with the race thing, right? The conversations are about racism are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But only when you're racist.
Yeah, exactly.
With mental health, the conversation is more, I think it's only uncomfortable if you don't have a firm understanding of it. I think if you, like I was saying, have trouble conceptualizing it, have trouble wrapping your head around it, then the conversation could be uncomfortable, because now you're in a space where you don't know anything.
Yeah.
You know, for me, the conversation is difficult for me because I haven't had the conversation often enough. I've had it, but, you know, you get worried about saying the wrong thing, or you know, you don't want to trigger someone.
So, yeah, that's interesting you say that. I was just thinking that when you said, like, the wrong thing to say, one thing that I have learned about having mental illnesses in general is that you have to, like, if you want healthy relationships, you can't let people feel like they're walking on eggshells around you. Like, there's really no right thing to say. There's no wrong thing to say, because if you're unaware, that's it. Like, all you have to do is educate the person. But to say, like, oh, like, you triggered me, and to hold that against a person is wrong. Like, there's some things that we still have to take responsibility for, because God is not going to, like, send out a trigger warning before some shit happens to you, you know? So you have to learn. Like, shit's just going to happen. People are going to say things that are going to rub you the wrong way. You have to learn, like, the intentions. If you have good intentions, you can't really say, you can say the wrong thing, but, like, you can't really say. There's no point in being afraid. There's nothing to, like, try to tiptoe around if you're talking to a person that's, like, ready to have that conversation in general.
I think that's probably the hardest part about it, is the triggers. Not trying to trigger somebody.
Yeah.
Because it's still a fairly new concept. I remember my father had a friend who was schizophrenic, and he had an episode when I was like maybe a 2-3-year-old baby. He was hanging out with my father, and he had an episode, and I was in the back seat, and you know, I didn't know. Obviously, at 3 years old, you don't know what the hell is going on.
No, yeah,
I don't
exactly.
even think I remember it. But when he tells me about it, you know, it's a scary scenario because you don't understand what's going on.
Yes.
Right? So I could say that's probably my first experience with mental health, even though
That's
I don't remember.
traumatizing.
I don't remember it, so it's not really I don't remember. I don't remember anything about it, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really count. But that's the first recollection. Not that I have that I have a lot of conversations with my pops, and we talk about this type of stuff. That's the first conversation I ever had about mental health. Was this guy who was schizophrenic, who had an episode and just, you know, snapped, tried to strangle my dad and ran out the car, and like, I'm like, damn, like that's some extreme shit.
That's
like,
very extreme.
That's pretty extreme, you know. But it's as simple as, you know, you just need some help.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. Have you seen The Joker?
Yes.
Yeah, that fucked up my life.
Really?
For sure. Like, that triggered me.
Joker?
Really bad.
Really?
I actually, like, had a full dissociative episode the next day. Like, ended up in the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, and I do know what it was. So I get it, the trigger thing. Yeah, I get that. Schizophrenia, though, I don't know. It's a scary one.
I went to see Joker by myself.
Really?
I usually go and watch movies by myself, and that was like, I have to see that one.
Oh my gosh.
And I loved it.
Yeah, did you?
I loved it because it was, the feel of the movie was very uncomfortable. It was very, the nuances of mental health are in there. And I thought it was polarizing.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought it was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
I didn't know it would be a trigger.
It's a big trigger. I don't know if it's just me. No, it's not. I definitely went on Twitter after, and a lot of people were saying, like, hey, if you have any of these issues, like, you probably shouldn't go see it. And I shouldn't have seen it. It is triggering because it's so accurate, but it's like the extremes. But that's real life, though. Like, at the beginning of it, he's asking for help, you know, like, he's begging for help. And he's saying, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't trust myself. And that's really what it's like. Like, even for me, like, having, like, suicidal feelings and stuff, like, I will be at that point where I'm, like, I'm asking for help because I know that I'm not at the brink, you know? Like, I know I'm coming close, but I'm not there yet. So, like, that's when I will be able to ask for help. And then you notice, like, at the end, they're, like, trying to help him, and he's beyond it, you know? Like, he doesn't want their help anymore. And that's literally what it's like. Like, that's exactly what it's like. And yeah, so it was just a lot. Even like him going through the breakdown, and then like, they talked to him about his childhood, if I remember correctly, and like, he doesn't really remember it. That's also my life. Like, that's pretty much exactly what I'm going through. Like, I don't really have recollection of my childhood much. So I feel like that too, just like watching it all play out was just like, holy shit. Like, that's so sad to see him, like, need it, ask for it, and then nothing happens, and then it's to the point where, like, he's beyond help anymore. And I feel like that's how a lot of people feel. So
damn.
Yeah.
I was just here like, this is a brilliant movie.
It was, I'm sure.
But that says a lot about the writing of the film, of how they were trying to they probably were trying to trigger, I guess, emotions. If that's maybe not trying to, but they were definitely trying to relate.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was an accurate depiction. It was very accurate, but that's why it's hard. Wow. To take, and even for like you to see it, you're like, wow, that was brilliant. But because you can recognize it, like there's truth in it. But then yeah, I took it different, I guess. I didn't even really. I realized like I was feeling off. You know, like I was very like depressed after seeing that. Like that was like I went downhill just so fast. Like I was perfectly fine.
Did you watch it by yourself?
No, I went with like my family.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's awkward.
It was fine at the time. Like nobody knew what I was going. I didn't talk to them about it. I didn't say anything. At the end of it, they're like, "Wow, that was so good," and I was like, "It was definitely a well-made movie." Like, I'll say that.
That's good cinema.
Yeah.
I think that's good cinema.
Yeah.
That's very gritty, very dark. It's a very dark movie. I'm gonna stand by what I said by it being brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
But that's you said something about suicidal thoughts. How often?
How often do I have them?
Yeah.
Most of the time. Most of the time, I would say.
Is it something? Does something trigger that? Is that just it's just a thought that comes through? Like, is it usually followed by something? If it was followed by something, then you would know that. But
yeah. So. That's a lot to get into, but I will do it. So basically, with borderline, suicidal ideation is like a regular thing, and they say that there's pretty much no like treatment for what I have. So before I knew this, we'll just rewind. I definitely had the thoughts a lot, like all the time, and I've attempted like a solid serious attempt, like I would say 3 or 4 times probably. Other than that, I don't know, like I'll think about it. If I plan it, that's when I know that like it's getting worse. For me, like I pretty much always have this nihilism running through my brain, so I'm kind of always like in an existential crisis, but to the point where yeah, like I feel like I have to just be aware. Once I start to like plan it, or I'm like, okay, this is what I could do, or like this is how I could do it, and you know, try to make it like make sense, then that's when I know that I'm getting to the point where like it's probably I'm gonna try. Yeah. As far as the thoughts, they can be triggered, definitely. Like if I'm going through something like really bad, or if something really bad happens, that's pretty much like that's like the thing that, yeah, it's like the first thought, honestly.
Is it like negative self-talk?
Well, I don't know. That's interesting. Negative self-talk, maybe a little, but I feel like for me, like suicide isn't about like just like, oh, like wanting to die. It's like wanting to like stop feeling how I'm feeling. And I feel like I can't, there's nothing I can do to like escape that feeling. Like you're in a hole and it's like you want to yell for help, but like you can't make a sound, you know, like you just don't feel like there's anything that anybody else could do or that you can do. It's kind of just like a hopelessness and like not wanting to, yeah, go through the emotions. It's not even really necessarily like an ideation or like idealization of death. Yeah, it's just like I don't fear death. Like I don't have that fear anytime.
Of death.
Ever.
I think a lot of people don't fear death. But, you know, when you're saying you want to stop feeling, that's a whole different, that's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different scenario. You know, have relationships had a negative impact on your mental health?
Yeah.
Every time I ask a question, you just start dying.
Because you hit it. Yeah, definitely. It's hard. Those are hard. Relationships are really hard having like this disorder that I have. Yeah, it's hard because with borderline, everything is so fucking extreme. Like everything that I feel is like what a normal person feels, but on 10, that's like the good and the bad. And we have this like fear of abandonment constantly. So I'm always like seeking reassurance or being like, okay, well, you feel like this now, you know? It's a lot of that. It's a lot of like questioning and a lot of like not trusting, not believing, and just expecting that person to not stick around, which I feel like just makes me spiral. Because a lot of the time now, like I've obviously evolved a lot, like from when I was younger, but now I can look objectively at some like a relationship and be like, okay, well, I don't need this person to survive. But when you're like deep in it like that, and then yeah, it can definitely affect. Toxic relationships are worse, but even healthy ones, I feel like sometimes are hard for me to like navigate.
It's interesting. It's interesting because relationships can have positive, negative impact on your life. It's like everything in life, right?
Yeah.
Can mental illness be, or in your case, can it be detrimental to people around you?
Yep.
And what would that look like, or how?
Well, me like not on my medication, and like I feel like me before was definitely it was definitely detrimental, because a lot of people take things personal, which fair. Like it's just how people are. They're wired that way a lot. And that's one thing about mental illness is like nothing is personal to the other person. Like everything that I might project, or like if I need space and I communicate that and like you take it personal, like it's me, you know, like it's all coming from me. But a lot of people don't have that understanding of it. So I feel like that's detrimental. I know like my relationship with my mom has suffered because she's scared to talk to me because she's scared of saying the wrong thing. Even though I've told her there's no right or wrong thing to say. So that is a thing. And just me, like, needing that space. Like, I'm not, like, sometimes I don't want to talk to people. Like, if somebody's texting me and I just don't answer, it's not personal. It's just like, hey, I don't have the space. But I needed to learn, like, how to communicate that better, which I'm still learning. But yeah, I feel like that's how I definitely affect people by, just not communicating that, like, hey, it's me, it's not you. But even when you say that, sometimes people don't believe you.
The George Costanza, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
How do people learn more? How do people contribute to the conversation without being performative? How do people, obviously education does help, obviously, but what are the ways that, we can get better at having this conversation about mental health?
Listening, honestly, it's a lot. I feel like a lot of the time, like, we're willing to communicate. It's just a matter of, like, are you asking? Or, like, if I vent to somebody, sometimes they might just want to give advice. But, like, I'm not really in the space where I want that. Sometimes I just need to talk. You know, like, I don't always need you to tell me what's the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do, or, like, what's a better idea. So I feel like just listening, honestly, just listening, not to respond, but just to, like, hear that person, and just kind of sympathizing with them. A lot of times, like, I know that self-harm, for example, happens. I feel like, for me anyways, because a lot of the pain is internal. And it's not like you have this physical ailment that people are going to see and be able to acknowledge. So it's like, then people start self-harming because they're like, hey, I want to feel something. I'm going through this. Can anybody see? Like, is anybody paying attention? So, like, paying attention is helpful, and listening, and just not taking things personal, just, like, removing your ego for a second and just kind of being like, oh, okay.
How does mental health and race intersect for you?
I don't know if it's honestly affected me that bad. But that's because, I mean, honestly, I've definitely, this is going to be bad, but I've hated to talk about mental illnesses with Black people. I hate doing it. Yeah. It sucks.
I understand why.
Yeah.
Completely understand why.
That's really the only thing, though. It's just like we kind of aren't met with the same understanding, but I get it. Like, even coming from my grandma, like what I said before, it's just not, like, they've been through shit. They've been through worse, so it's kind of like I'm hesitant to do it. But as far as, like, the treatment and everything, I personally have not had any, like, horrible experiences I can speak on, luckily. Yeah.
Which is, that's a blessing, obviously, that you can,
very much so.
Because a lot of the stuff that, personally, I feel like, a lot of the stuff that Black people do see is normalized in a sense. I know for me, when I was growing up, I seen, I lost many friends. I've seen the police kill, obviously, a Black man. I've, been in places where my life has been in danger and had traumatic events and stuff, but it's been very normalized for me, and a lot of the people I've grown up with, and even my brother, we talk about how a lot of this stuff that we've gone through is very, very extreme, but universal. But why is it that we haven't, came out scarred from it, or traumatized from it, or, and I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah, I feel like it's luck for you, because
yeah, like I look at that and I'm like, it's a blessing. It's a luxury that, through all that my mind is still super optimistic and healthy.
Yeah, but I mean, even for you, it sounds like you have, like, parents who are pretty supportive. Like, you could talk to them about it.
Absolutely.
Right? For me, I feel like a lot of things that I was going through, like as a child, and my mom is like incredibly emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I was always holding space for her. Like even with like Amari, like when I had him and she was so happy to be a grandma, like when I was pregnant and stuff. And then when he passed, like I felt like I could not talk to her. Like I still would not talk to her about it because she gets, you know what I mean? Like she gets so emotional. And then I'm like, oh, like I can't show emotions. If I start crying, she'll start crying, even if there's no context. So I think that also plays a part.
That means it's not a safe space for you.
Or like it's not a safe space, or it's just like you're too busy taking it on. You're too busy holding it. Like me and my dad are very similar in that sense that we keep our mouths shut mostly. We're just like, we don't say anything. Like we don't talk about what we're going through because like for my mom and my brother, like they're so emotional. They will just hold it for us. And that's not healthy.
Isn't that kind of like walking on eggshells in a sense then?
Yeah, I would say so.
It's
but even not even for her, more for me, because like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. For you, it's walking on eggshells for you because you're the one who has to watch what you say. You're the one who's, you know, like, oh, I don't want to say anything. Like it's becomes detrimental to you. When usually it's the contrary. Usually it's oh, they're walking on eggshells because they would want to trigger you.
Exactly. But instead, it's me. Even though, like, she doesn't, I wouldn't say she suffers from many mental illnesses, but I'm still the one that's like, hey, like, I could be feeling so bad, or, like, even my suicidal feelings, like, I can't go to her. I can't do it. And, like, who else is there?
That hurts. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that because, you know, you want the people around you to be an ear.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
At least an ear. You know, if not, you know, if they can't help you, at least be someone that can listen. And I think, you know, I've always, since I've started the Gifted Gab, I've said, you know, conversation is the fundamental form of just communication. You know, you want to. It is therapy. It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
That's why I stay sane. I just come in here and I just talk my shit on here, and you know, I feel bad that some people don't get that luxury. You know, and it's interesting how family dynamic can really contribute to. It can really be a factor in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Mental health, a very underrated factor. I feel like
it's huge because that's really like that's where you grow up. That's the space. That's everything kind of stems from that. A lot of your beliefs, even just
That's So then, how does the conspiracy theories fit in with your family dynamic? Because it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Okay.
I talk about it with my brother sometimes, but I don't. Yeah, no.
Because there's conspiracy. If we start with conspiracy theories, we'll be here.
We'll be here like 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, there are some good ones.
No, there's really good ones. Yeah, it's definitely entertaining.
The Epstein one.
It's not a conspiracy. Epstein isn't, because like that shit is just proven at this point.
Yeah, but if you were to tell me the stuff and I never knew about it, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like,
it's true.
Shut up.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff that is not conspiracies anymore, if you were to just say that to me, I'd be like, it's just like, relax. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
like,
you're being extreme.
You have too much time. Way too much time. Way too much time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, conspiracy theories are a whole other devil.
Yeah, it is truly.
You know, tell me before we go.
Yeah.
COVID. What's your verdict on coronavirus?
What do you mean? I mean,
in terms of conspiracy.
Okay, well, it's definitely man-made.
Oh.
It is, for sure. I'm just saying, it's patented.
Patented?
It is.
Like, literally, it's...
Yeah, look it up. Watch me be a liar. That's very awkward.
You better hope it's patented.
I swear it is.
Coronavirus patent. Oh. patent owner. The Gifted Gab conspiracy. Y'all got me on my severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus patent number US 2006257852.
What did I say? Okay, so let's be realistic here. That shit is designed. You know,
patented in Canada,
but you know
too.
why I thought about it originally?
Mhm.
Why I was like, this must be man-made is because how the hell is it only taking out like old people and sick people?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are the two people that don't contribute to society.
At all?
Not at all, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to like everybody else.
Well, if you look at the numbers, the baby boomer population, because the boomers, there was such a mass
Yeah.
boom, that's what I call baby boomers of them. This is going to sound very bad, but there are so many of them that are, I'm trying to choose.
Say it with your chest.
So the amount of old sick people that we do have,
Yes.
puts a strain on the financial side of the economy.
Okay, so don't you think that makes perfect sense?
So it does make sense. Yeah,
it makes perfect sense. It makes too much sense.
Way too much sense.
So that's why I looked into it, and then I realized all these things, and I started putting it together, and I said, no.
This is a thing.
This is a thing.
This is really patent.
Yes.
Let me put that on screen right here. Yeah, coronavirus.
Conspiracy theories with
Oh
Kailee.
my goodness! You
I'll
should
start
start
a
your own.
podcast.
You might have to start your own podcast.
I would. I'm going to start one, by
About
the way.
conspiracy theories?
Not about conspiracy theories.
Worldwide applications. It was processed in 2015.
Isn't that something?
It's 5 years ago. It's got images, classifications. The coronavirus may be used as a vaccine for treating and or preventing a disease such as infectious bronchitis in a subject.
So should we talk about the vaccinations, or should we just not even do that? Because that's another...
Vaccinations? Canada already ordered, 37 million syringes?
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it won't be me.
You getting vaccinated?
Absolutely the fuck not.
You getting vaccinated?
Give it time, but I need to see the guinea pigs first.
If it's no, there's no way. You don't want to. If it's I Am Legend, I will be Will Smith.
That's
With Kobe, we'll be running around. He won't protect me, but
well,
yeah.
this is inventor Erica Bickerton, Sarah Keep, Paul Britton. If you want to look into it further, I'm not looking into this shit. I'll get into the rabbit hole.
I'm in there. I'm deep in it, living there. Damn. This is real life.
This is very real.
I saw one article, and I'm sure it's not real, but they were saying that the vaccination for coronavirus might not be effective for Black people, so we have to try it first. Which I had to laugh. I hope that was fake.
You know what? I can see that because of all the populations in the world, Black people are probably the most arrogant when it comes to healthcare and going to the doctor. Immigrants and Black people, but Black people. How many Black people do you know that go?
Idea.
You know,
my foot was broken for 2 weeks before I went to get an X-ray.
So because of that, we're not big on medication.
Because we don't need that shit though.
Yeah.
Medication like Tylenol, that only affects your brain.
Yeah.
So realistically, we could just.
And 7 of them will kill you.
So here we are.
Yeah. So I've never been a really big medication guy. I'm just water.
Okay, but nothing against if it's mental health, do what you have to do. Mm-hmm. It's okay to take help.
That's actually something I did want to ask you. Medication and mental health. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of people that are totally against.
Yes, for sure. I used to be like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do you think it's because I've heard stories of people who had mental health illnesses and they completely bypassed the medications and tackled it head on.
Yes, and it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do anything you want to do. I tried to do that. And it was a lot of suicide attempts before I was like, you know what, maybe I should actually accept the help. But before I was very against it, thinking of it like, yeah, like, why do I need that? You know, that's how we think about it a lot of the time. And like, oh, I can get through it. I can beat it by myself. Like, I'll go to therapy. I'll do all those things. And those things are important. But one thing that my friend said to me when I was considering starting the medication, she said, look at it as like a tool to help you to like put other tools in place to cope with things when you're just raw dogging reality. You know? Yeah,
you had me at raw dogging reality.
But it's true though. I took that, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
You stopped raw dogging reality.
Yes, I did. I was like, you know what, maybe I have a point. And then I went on Wellbutrin. I'm on it now. And I took it for a while, and then I felt like it stopped working for a bit. So then they're like, here, try this one. And so I tried that one, and then I was hearing voices, fully lost my mind. So then I was like, okay, so we're just not. So not all meds are good.
You say you're hearing voices?
Literally, like, I had taken it, and she's like, these are really strong. I don't know why the doctor's starting off at 50 milligrams. He should be starting at 25, but here you go. I'm going to call you in 2 days. And I was like, 2 days? Like, it's going to work that fast? My other one, I had to take for 2 weeks before they said that I would even, like, notice anything. But, yeah, on the second day of taking it, I, like, woke up in the morning, and I took it, and then I just was like, a thought in my head was just kind of like, take the whole bottle. It's fine. Like, literally. So that happened, and then I kind of like lost my shit for like 2 more days and like went MIA, like left my house, like just didn't go home for a while, and like the pharmacist was calling me and everybody's calling me, and then I stopped taking them, and then the next day I was like, whoa.
Damn.
Yeah. So they can really affect you, so you definitely have to be careful and accept help, but they can, like, now I'm just on the normal one that I was on before. It's working for me. So I think it's just a matter of trial and error.
Wow.
And being safe.
Is the voice your voice, or is it somebody else's voice?
It was definitely like my voice, kind of. I don't really know. It wasn't.
You never really know whose voice it is.
Yeah, I couldn't have even like differentiated. It was just like almost like a thought, but it was like persistent.
Because I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah, I think
just
it's normal.
Out loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
like Alex, what are you doing? Alex, no. You know, but
right. It's not the same.
You kind of want to know whose voice
Yeah.
is in my head.
Like, is that me?
You know, like if Morgan Freeman had mental illness, does he hear Morgan Freeman's voice?
That might be peaceful.
Or does he hear Christopher Walken's voice? Like, you know, that's a really serious extreme. That's I did not know that.
Yeah, medication it can really fuck with you, but it can also really help you.
I just want to know, like, my thing is, like, is there a business behind mental health the way there's a business behind physical health?
Yeah. They actually get, like, they get paid per prescription they give out. Doctors
really?
do. Yeah, not just for mental health, though. Like, for everything. Like, for my foot, my broken foot, they tried to give me, like, 6 things, and like one of them was a cream, and I was like, what the fuck is that doing for my bone? But, like, she gave me so many prescriptions.
You get paid per prescription?
They do, yeah.
Well, because it's like a referral. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's why they be giving everybody so much shit. You don't need that shit. Like, half of it you really don't need.
Wow, I did not know that.
It's literally everything's a business.
And it's the same thing with mental health too? When you get prescribed, they get a referral?
Yeah, because I was like, why is he putting me on 2? Why wouldn't he just take me off the one that I think isn't working and put me on a different one? And I was like so hesitant taking all these things. And yeah, I was right for that.
My mind is blown. I can't believe that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Take it, like, with a grain of salt. If you think you need it, I'm supportive. But if you can do it without it, extra supportive.
Mind blown. I just learned something new.
Every day.
This is why I don't fuck with doctors.
See, you're just doing it. You just did it. We
What?
just talked about black people. They're too arrogant. They don't go to the doctor.
I mean, like,
5 minutes later.
I mean, like, I have my reasons.
That's fair.
I have my reasons. I've just been, there's times I've gone to the doctor and they couldn't diagnose me with some like physical injuries, but
Yeah.
it's like, bro, like I limped over here. What do you mean go on ice and elevate? Like,
Literally. Yes.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then that's the complete opposite of, hey, I'm going to get you to take X, Y, and Z.
Yes. Because not everybody's like that. I mean, not every doctor maybe, but I feel like it's gotten worse with time.
Well, I'd expect like, I'd expect a physical injury to have a solution,
Oh, yeah.
like, oh, a bone is broken, we can surgically repair
Exactly. Yes.
that. You expect a tangible solution.
Or numb you to it like they tried to do with me. They're like, here's 4 pain medications.
Oh, oh my goodness.
You've never had that?
No.
Really?
Have I? No, I've never taken painkillers for anything. No.
Well, so for me, when I was at the hospital, like for my mental health, they diagnosed me with borderline like at the last minute, but then they're like, oh, but no medication helps borderline. There's nothing we can do to cure it. Like, it's just kind of a disorder. It's what it is. And then I went to like a family doctor, and then he's like, here, try these. So I don't know if maybe it's like different.
My family doctor growing up was black.
Okay.
And anytime I was sick, my mom and my dad would take me when I was young, and he would never prescribe me anything.
Okay, well, you're just very lucky.
I'm very lucky.
Because I had a black doctor, and he's the one that gave me those 2 things that made me lose my shit.
Yeah, but a black doctor here in Alberta is...
But he's like fully African.
I don't know, man. I remember my doctor. He was like the guy from Simpsons. He had like a little funny laugh and stuff.
Oh, I love that.
He's a good guy, and he always always talk to me about school and like, tell me that he was a good doctor, man. Shout out Dr. Simmons, man. He was always, telling me to like, hey, listen, you're going to play basketball. Make sure, thinking outside the box, learn the game and learn the rules of the game and bend them. And that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
For life. It really stuck with me. And it was cool to see him telling me that, because that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was a doctor. He wasn't prescribing me on a bunch of bullshit.
Yep.
If I came in and I had the fever or something, he would tell my dad, listen, just, give him a cold rag when he's on his head.
A real black
he'll
man,
be fine.
For sure. Yeah. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah. And I loved him, and I'm like, I've always wondered, what he's up to. That was back in Toronto, but.
Wow.
Yeah, shout out Dr. Simmons. He raised a soldier. Damn. Well, where do you see the direction of mental health going, especially with like when we go back to the race conversation?
Yeah.
A lot of the faulty mental health checks, which is a big problem on the police.
Yeah.
Do you see it getting better? Do you see the current trend? Do you see it getting worse? Do you see it?
I see it being not by accident, by design. So I feel like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it'll get worse, because the awareness has definitely, like, there's a lot more awareness of it than there was before. A lot of people feel more comfortable talking about mental illnesses than they used to. I can't see it getting worse, but like, to say it will get better, I don't know. I can't. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just like that. It's by design. So you can't, like, people are only ready to hear what they want to hear.
That's facts.
Right.
Yeah.
So that whole system, I don't know if they really care that much as like it's advertised and advocated for.
Do you think, because there's a lot of big corporations, they advocate for it. Do you think a lot of it's performative?
Oh, yeah. I feel like a lot of everything is performative.
Yeah.
Right now.
Absolutely.
In general.
I mean, it's a weird time.
Yeah.
To live in right now, man. Like, the race conversation is not a new conversation.
No. Yeah. No.
It's the mental health conversation is not a new conversation. And there are people that pop up that have the best interests of the people who are suffering from these things in mind.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people, you know, putting on a show, putting on a charade, you know, and it comes back to what we were saying about, you know, Kanye, you know, seeing one of those guys go through these issues.
Yeah.
And from the outside looking in, looking like he has nobody to turn to, breaks my heart.
Me too. Like he has a lot of yes men around him.
Absolutely.
A lot of enablers. And that does not help anybody that's mentally ill.
Absolutely. Kanye comes from a really strong, you know, like his mother was essentially his backbone.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously I've never met the man personally, but you can see the pain he went through losing his mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so
I feel like that took a big toll even on his mental health. Like things went downhill from there. Yeah.
And it's yeah, a lot of stuff went downhill for him. You know, and just the Kardashians as business people, I think they're brilliant. But I think it comes at the expense of their moral compass.
Yeah, well,
you know, obviously,
non-existent.
Non-existent. You know, and you know, for Kanye, like we were saying, for a guy that's sensitive with this stuff, it's like that's very detrimental to him.
Yeah,
it's like very, very detrimental to him, and that's why I say, you know, you should have got a black woman, man. Sorry.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
I mean. It's tough. And this conversation was going on, and people were like, you know, how can you blame the Kardashians for it? But it's like, look at... It's going to sound really bad. But look at the dynamic of that environment.
Yeah.
There is no other male figure in there.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, it does sound pretty bad.
It does sound very bad.
I know where you're going.
And I'm not knocking... women at all. I think women are powerful beyond measure. I don't even think they need men, to be honest. But
you're right.
For a guy like Kanye, when Jay-Z and Beyonce don't show up to your wedding, there's a message there. From those two are the most cryptic, subliminal, but also blunt people. And them not wanting to come celebrate that milestone with you, the relationship that they do have, there's a message there, I feel like. You know, because you know, people, when they're good friends, they always talk about, oh, you know, can't wait till we get married and we can do this, and this. It's like, oh, those guys are best friends. But... that's non-existent, and you'd think that would be a conversation that they would have had, but I think that the dynamic just doesn't fit, you know.
Yeah.
And you're seeing right now, like Kanye last time Kanye went on tour, he had a breakdown 3 shows in. So for him to get up and say, "I'm going to go do this campaign," after the last time you were in front of a bunch of people, you broke down. You talked shit about your guy. You were in the hospital for a few days.
I didn't even know all that.
Going to run for president. like if I said I'm gonna go and run for president, I expect you guys not to be like you guys would encourage me, but like you guys would also look at me and be like, let's slow down. How are we gonna do that? What is the step-by-step process? Running for office just because Donald Trump made it look so easy.
I mean, yeah, what he did.
That guy is a finesser.
He just made it look like anybody could do it. If he could do it, anybody could for real do it.
I have a hot take about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Bigot, yes.
Yeah.
Racist, yes. He's got a brain in him.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh, no, for sure. I agree. He's a businessman.
Yeah, he knows. I wouldn't even say businessman. he understands his market. He knows exactly who he's appealing to. He knows exactly who he's dealing with.
That's a businessman.
That's an influencer.
Okay, that's true.
You know, he's an influencer. He's got influence. Like, he's not out here. Like, we saw Obama. Obama he's a politician.
Yes.
You know, and you can argue the fact that Obama probably had the toughest job out of all the other compared to the other 44 presidents. What he had to deal with. But Trump is just like, fuck. He's just, I find him very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I must agree.
I actually find him very, I'm like, this guy's an idiot, but he's fucking, if I was a comedian, I'd have a field day with Donald Trump jokes. I'd probably piss a lot of people in Alberta off, but
it's okay.
You know, I've seen some videos of Canadians wearing MAGA hats.
Yeah, me too.
And, you know, there's no limit for that kind of stupidity.
Yep.
No limit at all. Because, first of all, you don't even live in America.
Okay, but that's like saying that we couldn't have supported Obama.
Yeah, but
different values, same idea.
It's not really the same idea because, you know, we don't support Obama because...
Yeah, okay.
We don't support Obama. No. Let me get this off. We don't support Obama because he's a president. We were proud of Obama because he was a black president in a white man's job.
Yes, and they're proud of Trump because he is a racist white man that gets to lead a country.
Yeah, but you know what? Make America great again. Okay? That's the phrase.
Yes.
It's so broad.
Yes.
that it can apply to anything.
It's true.
Like, I'm pretty sure there's people that wear that hat that aren't even racist.
Yes.
But that's the genius in his campaign, is that he came up with a slogan that was so...
Yeah. He wasn't really saying anything.
He wasn't saying anything.
He wasn't saying much.
I don't even think he thought that through. He just said it and put it on a hat.
Yeah.
And it was so universal for people in America that Kanye West put it on his fucking head. Like, just think about that for a second.
Do you really think that's what it was? Kanye has been a supporter of Trump, he said. He takes pictures, they flick it up, like they're big friends.
I don't know, man, because like I want to give Kanye the benefit of the doubt that he's not that stupid.
He might not be.
I personally think he probably schemed that out and said, you know, I'm gonna do this maybe to get Kim in the room to do what she gotta do.
That's a thing I've heard.
Like, I would believe that. Like, when you are close to a guy, or when you've been close to a guy like Jay-Z for so long, you learn to think like that.
Yeah.
Do I agree with the way he went about it? Not really. And could that have been what has contributed to his, or some sort of contribution to his mental breakdown? You could make the argument. Maybe. I don't know. It's a mess, man. I hope Kanye gets better.
Me too.
Not even for music's sake, just as a human being, of what he's done for our culture. He's one of the most influential artists we've seen of our generation, for sure. You know, I'll always argue Jay-Z, but you know,
I know
Kanye's Kanye.
He is.
It's my guy. It's definitely my guy. Let the people know where they can find you. It's KaileeMarie.com, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy.
Good job.
Simple.
See, that was
so
the point.
Easy. There's no .org, no .ca, no nothing.
No, just .com.
Yeah, if you want to tell them a little bit about what you do, about your writing, about your art. Don't be shy.
A little shy. Well, I blog
Mm-hmm.
mostly about, I won't even want to say mental health because I haven't gotten too deep into it, to be honest, but a lot of like self-development, personal development, and all those things. I draw for fun, mostly. I haven't learned how to like relay my emotions or how to show them in my drawings as much yet, but I'm getting into that. So a lot of illustrations and blogging and tattooing soon. Yep. And that's it.
Do you have a plan to open up your own shop, or?
I will one day, but I'd also like to open up an art gallery one day. I'm trying to do everything.
Why can't it be in one place?
Does that mean I have to give you a percentage now? Because that's a good idea.
Full of ideas.
I mean, no, it could be. It very well could be.
No, we can talk.
Yeah.
We can talk
We'll get into it
numbers.
later.
We can talk numbers later.
Right.
You guys know the deal. 1K Convos with your boy. Make sure you guys tap in, subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe. Check us out at check us out at www.thegiftedgab.com, and stay tuned for the next episode with the guy Andre Kelly, and he'll be tapping in. He'll be, the race to 1,000 conversations. That's what we're doing. So you guys know the vibes, and just like that.